welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 21st of May. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
And Gary, it's good to be back.
Welcome back.
Thank you for the welcome.
As people said to us right through our teens and our whole lives, where's your tan? We've just not...
Come
where's your
on.
tan?
Can't you see how tanned I am?
No, I can see a bit of makeup, because I know you'd like to put a bit of makeup on. I like that. I like that commitment that you've got to the makeup.
I am feeling so pumped and so
tan.
refreshed, and so people, I must say, think I'm really a native Australian.
They do. Or maybe a local from Bali, or speaking to you in the local language.
Absolutely.
They couldn't work out that you weren't from the country. Bali, had a good time?
Bali had a fabulous time. My wife and I just basically did nothing but read, eat. I went to the gym a lot. I slept in. Other than that, very little. Went out to the fabulous restaurants of Seminyak.
So for me, holidays are about cigars, golfing, and cigars, golfing, and casino. Can we go anywhere away together? Is there any chance that'll ever happen?
I think we could probably go away because you could have a cigar when we're outside sitting in the shade. But if you're looking for a casino buddy or a golf buddy, that won't be me. But I'm happy to watch you smoke a cigar.
That sounds good. Talking about holidays, I actually had just a couple of days away, as you know. And you know what? Just in Queensland, firstly, the service hasn't got any better. I think they know us, by the way, in Queensland, because we bag Queensland. And I mean, if you're a Liberal person, if you're Labor supporter, you're bagging Queensland right now. If you're Liberal, you'd be loving Queensland. But they lost my bag. Just going from there to there, the bag was lost. And of course, now I've worked out, I'm taking valuables like my diary, I'm carrying with me, my tablets, my medication, I'm carrying with me.
I'm amazed. So any medication, I always carry on me on the planes.
So my blood pressure
and also my diary, I would never check that in as luggage. So diary is critically important. So you did gloss over it very quickly, but a quick shout out to ScoMo. Congratulations, ScoMo. You pulled off the impossible. It was a miracle.
Was that not, I hate reality TV. That's the best reality TV that I've ever seen.
Do you know what? There's something odd going on in the world that all of the millions of dollars that's thrown at polls, and they're all on Saturday night going, not sure about our business model anymore.
Do they just poll the Metal and Trade Union or someone that's very hard left? Or I'm not sure who gets polled because it's completely ridiculous. There's 50. They said 50 polls. All favoured Labor.
Absolutely. And Annabelle Crabb, who you've never heard of because she's on the ABC, Gary, but Annabelle Crabb, who's one of my favourite journalists.
She's not on Sky Racing, I can tell you that.
No, she's not. She was laughing about this during the election count. And she basically asked Arthur Sitodinis, who is probably a lefty liberal, and she said, well, based on all of the polls, do you think you'll stop changing prime ministers based on the polls? Which was a really good, good question to ask.
Well, it looks like we've got a prime minister to stay now.
Well, they changed the rules.
Right. 2/3 have got to vote him out. But, given that he's actually popular, voted in, that Abbott was out with his politics and his policies, you can't imagine that they'd want to change him over. I mean, he is the guy.
Well, he's a winner.
He's a winner. He's done it almost single-handedly. It was the most incredible result. And, without, and I know you're very careful, and so am I, but without, jumping on one side of the fence or another, there were under the Labor government, I would say, unfriendly property taxes. And I have to say, from just a real estate point of view, I think that not have those unfriendly taxes is a positive.
So what you're saying is that you think, without declaring your allegiance, that the Liberal government is better for property than a Labor government.
Couldn't possibly doubt that.
So Gary, not that anybody watching this show has any faith in your opinions, although they're interested to watch and listen to your opinions.
I was going to have a bet on Labor, by the way.
So you've just given an opinion that the Liberal government is better for property. Okay, now work with me, because I've said your opinion is valueless, except it's vindicated by the
good for me.
It's vindicated by the share market yesterday, where you saw all of the banks and REA and Domain, which are all of the highly exposed shares to the property market. All of them jumped immediately on the open of the ASX.
Are you saying things are very positive at the top end of town? Because there was some talk about the top end of town, Phil.
I
didn't like all of that.
There's no question, and without declaring my political allegiances, there is no question.
I'm not saying I like everything.
He alienated a lot of people.
Absolutely, no question about that. And I mean, Labor admit it. They say it openly. You know, I've been reading and watching the commentators, the commentary, and you know they have to take responsibility for their loss. But at the end of the day, it was the most extraordinary thing, wasn't it?
Well, there are two very powerful people, Gary, that watch this show. I know this for a fact, not necessarily every week, but they're known to watch it. That is, of course, Josh Frydenberg, who held on to his seat, and a lot of his insights into the property market are through GPTV. So, just a shout out to Josh. Continue watching, because we'll give you the facts from the people in the street. But well done, and of course to Josh Burns that took the baton from Michael Danby, who was the long-serving member for McNamara, which is the rename for Melbourne Ports.
And I've got to say, politics aside, you know, because Kate Ash...
she ran a very good campaign.
I've got to say that I think the candidates that we've... And Tim Wilson, who also is known to our company, I have to say that I think the candidates really did fight hard. They stood up for what they believed in, and whether they won or they lost, I think there's a lot of really good people in this area that have been putting themselves forward.
The stat that I talked about in the sales meeting this morning, though, which is really interesting, because the stats have come out, 43% of people voted LNP, right? 33% of people voted Labor, 10% of people voted for the Greens. So when you look at that, 43, 33 and 10 means 43 combination. Yeah. So it's almost 1 in 2 people, though, didn't want ScoMo to be re-elected.
Oh, that's right. But it was like the same in America, wasn't it? I'm not sure what that means. You know, does that divide the country? Does it bring it together? I think ScoMo is a person that will bring people together, governs for all. And I've got to say that, you know, that's it. That's
do you know what? We don't know much about anything outside property, Gary.
No, and I remember young Jeremy Rosen's young son Ryder said, who watches this show to hear about what they've got to say other than real estate? Who are they to talk about anything? And I think that's a lot of wisdom in that.
But what I was saying, let me restate that we don't know much about anything other than property.
About nothing.
But what we do know, Gary, we do know about marketing. Yes. And I can tell you very clearly, right early in the campaign, I made a call. I didn't make a call about whether Liberal or Labor would win, but I made a call about likability, and purely from a very superficial view, I said ScoMo is a lot more likeable to look at and listen than when you look at Bill Shorten.
Angry Bill he was.
He
was a bit angry.
ScoMo was always smiling. Yeah. He was always smiling, and he was always very positive. Bill Shorten has got an angry look about it.
But is that what every opposition person is? I mean, is every opposition... I mean, just the fact that you're in opposition, straight away, you've got to be angry with that, because you're not the elected choice. And maybe that's just the position of everybody in opposition, that you're angry, you're trying to turn it around.
Except, Gary, you've got to remember, an election campaign is selling.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's one thing that we do know about. It's selling. And there is a Yoko Ono made a famous statement about, if you look in the mirror every morning and smile at yourself 3 times... then your life will change.
And you'll marry a rock star.
And I've got to tell you, Bill Shorten didn't smile much during the whole campaign. And at the end of the day, it's a sales campaign.
Well, let's just hope that the country does come together and things are positive now. And there is, I guess the one good thing is that with all of the Prime Ministers we've had and all the changes, and whether it was Shorten or him, or ScoMo, the fact that we've got someone staying around, that has to be the evangelical image. Because we were laughing stock of the world, Australia. You know, he's in this one. It was like, you know, it's more changes than Madonna has in a concert in Paris, you know.
So coming back to the election result, and to put a full stop to this conversation, what is interesting, Gary, and before we put our towers up, we had 10 auctions on Saturday, and we sold 5 out of 10 for a 50% clearance. But we had 7 auctions on Sunday. Dust is settled. We now have an old new government, right? We had 7 auctions on Sunday, and we sold 7 out of 7 for 100%.
Exactly right.
So if you think about that, 100% on Sunday, the bank's REA domain up on Monday, maybe the property market's going to turn.
And you know what? I just say that Liberals were terrible on Saturday and they were really good on Sunday, because it was a whole new result. Shall we talk about some of our sales, Philip? Because we've talked.
Well, let's get those towers up, Gary, because the industry did very well. on the weekend.
Yeah, I reckon that's the best weekend for the industry for a long time.
It is 61%. Yep. It's been a good
12, 63%.
It's been a good 12 months since the industry was up over 60%. And keep in mind that we're really one of the only firms that do Sunday auctions.
We are.
So there was virtually nothing happening on Sunday, but election Saturday. Not only did it have a lot of auctions, but the clearance rate was high. But of course, we did smash the industry average, Gary. Put up the towers now.
It's both time for us.
71% clearance at Gary Peer & Associates versus 61% for the industry. So how good are we?
We've got to love it when that happens, Phil. And some of the properties, some of the auctions were very popular.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of people around. Some nice weather on the weekend as well, thankfully.
Beautiful.
There was at this time of year. Talking about Beautifully Street auction was Beautifully Street Ormond, Phil, was an auction that you had. Sold for $1,750,000, 4 bidders there.
Gary, reserve was, I think, circa $1.5 million there. That just took off. We had a number of people bidding for it, and that price, I've got to tell you, is like it's a boom time price.
It is, Phil. It's pretty much up there with as good as it ever could be. McLean Avenue, well, our McLean's was showing on Saturday, Philip, when I auctioned that one around the same time.
Funny, Gary.
Yeah, it was not bad. I auctioned that one at 12:30, met Leon Guzenfitter there, and I had 5 bidders for that property. It sold for $1,485,000, Philip, well over the range and reserve of 1.3. So we're talking about almost $200,000 over the range, more than 10% over the range, around 13% over the range. Pretty good. And Philip, Narrawong Crescent. Yes,
I want to talk about that, Gary, because it was interesting. We had 3 people bidding for it, and it was really a hot auction.
So sold for $1,430,000, Philip, another competitive auction, which was great. We had some exciting auctions on Sunday. The property at 34 Oran Crescent, where we did, I think, did we do
GPTV? Absolutely.
We did GPTV.
Most incredible house.
Incredible house. A lot of people through it. Had a lot of editorial, Philip. It was written up in the Leader, and I think in the Age Domain. I think also maybe in the Herald. Anyway, interesting home, interesting auction, Philip. Lots of bidders. 4 bidders sold for $2,125,000, just a little over the top of the range. So strong result there. Princess Street, St Kilda. Well, that was sold for $565,000, Philip, for somebody who I think just turned up on the day.
Yes, and that's the joy of auctions. There is always somebody that arrives for the first time. Keeping in mind, viewers, that auction day, the property's open for half an hour prior to. So a lot of buyers use the auction just to come and have a look. And if you're an educated buyer, that is, you've seen a few things, nothing's stopping you putting up your hand on the day. 39
Bandera Road, Philip. That was another
Gary,
solid auction.
That was
6 bidders.
That was a steam train. Literally, the second bid in that property was on the market, and it was a very aggressive second bid. I don't mind saying, but we would have had a crowd there of about, I reckon, 100 odd people. But 6 bidders, viewers, 6 bidders, 5 bidders, 3 bidders. We're having a lot of that, multiple bidders. So there is a message coming through loud and clear. If you are thinking of selling, then there is no question now's the time to come into the market.
Also interesting, these sales, some of the hottest sales that we had, if you could take a hot spot, was around that $1.5 million. Houses with good blocks of land.
That 1.3 to 1.7 range.
That range, that range actually softened a little bit, I found, in the last 6 months, but now it's kind of really solidified, and we're getting some hot competition there, whereas there was sort of 1 or 2 bidders now. We're getting 3, 4, 5 bidders. So that's an interesting little pocket of price that seems to be doing well.
A price pocket,
Philip, 1 at 70 Filbert Street. That was sold to somebody who we found through our database.
Yes,
Philip.
We do a lot of email blasts, viewers. We have a massive database in our office.
That buyer came from there.
And what we do whenever we list a property before they open for inspection, we send out literally hundreds, if not thousands, of emails to registered buyers, and that buyer came through the email blast.
860 that sold for, Philip. Right within the range, so well done to buyer and seller alike. And we closed out Sunday in Ontario Street, Phil, which was a little bit of a lengthy negotiation. I had to leave you there and I had to go to a funeral. I think I would have rather stayed where you were than actually going to the funeral of somebody delightful.
Yes, well, you had. This is not a show, Gary, to talk funerals. No, we were on a high there with 7 out of 7. We were closing it with our 7th sale in Ontario before you dropped in with talks of death, Gary. It's not a show about death.
Delightful person, Philip. So
yes, you're right. This is not the forum, Gary. But ultimately, we did have a very successful post-auction negotiation to some very happy, healthy people.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about any health issues or... Okay, fair enough. We'll stay right away from it. Phil, that was a big wrap. Still, my beef...
we still got a
Gary's beef section. Oh, it's up there all the time. Okay. Here comes the logo or slogan. Anyway, how about this luggage getting lost? I'm still very upset about that. And by the way, Qantas, pretty good airline,
Yes.
right? Here is the rules when you lose luggage. Do you know what the rules are?
I'm a bit over Qantas, I've got to tell you.
Well, I'm a bit pissed off with them, Phil. I don't
Go
mind
on.
saying. It's my beef now.
Yeah.
They say, firstly they say, you can track your luggage, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, if you can track it, why can't they track
exactly
it?
right. I can track the luggage that they've lost. So firstly they give me a number. Then I ring the number, and of course nobody answers on the number, right?
Yeah.
Then they ring me on Saturday morning, because I'm going back Friday. It was Saturday morning when my blood pressure's at 650 over 280.
Well, you don't have any spare blood pressure
No, I don't have any
tablets.
spare blood pressure. So firstly, my ears are smoking, and that's very relaxing for your blood pressure, not having your luggage or your tablets. Then they ring me, they say, look, we found your bag, which is great news. Well, firstly, they ring me to call them back, call them back and wait for 40 minutes. Finally get through, they found your bag, they'll deliver it to my home. I said, that's great, I'm going to work this time. I'm back, oh no, you have to be home, it's within 4 hours. If you're not home within those 4 hours, then you have to come to the airport to go and get it. That's a great customer service. Thanks a lot for that lost luggage. Yeah,
So
really
you're
you're
complaining about lost luggage, but I did make the point that you were saying, it's so terrible you lost your luggage. Every time I go to the airport, and I said this to you, every time I go to the airport, I'm looking at thousands of people, hundreds of planes, taking off to hundreds of destinations. I'm amazed, because I haven't lost my luggage for a while, I'm amazed that it doesn't happen all the time.
Right, and I'm amazed
if you think about it, because if you think about it, it all, you put the luggage in, and it goes on a conveyor belt down into a room. There's a room down there with hundreds of thousands of bags that all look the same.
Like your bag doesn't look the same.
Well,
You've got this like mafioso, you've got what was the name of the guy, the cartel guy, El Chacho, whatever his name is in Mexico. He's got this big steel bag, looks like there's guns in there or something, like a sniper. What is that bag of yours?
The bottom line is, I am absolutely amazed in the world of aviation that more bags are not lost. So when was the last time you lost your bag?
Well, it was Friday.
Okay, but before that?
Well, not for a while.
Next
time I'm going to check in my bag, I'm going to say, look, they're going to say, you're going to Sydney? I go, yes, but I'd like my bag to go through India, then Bali, then Perth, and then Sydney. If they say why, and I'll say, because that's what you did for me last time. So there you go, boom, boom.
Anyway, your bag should get frequent flyer points.
Sure, they've gone everywhere. Exactly right. If I only travelled as much as my bags, I'd be okay. Anyway, that's a big wrap on the weekend. Philip, we've got Thursday's, of course, summary for this weekend coming up. It's a juicy weekend of auctions, Philip, and we're in a beautiful house now. We'll review it on Thursday. Shall we do that?
Let's do that.
In Thursday session. Welcome home. Good to have you back, and got to be good for real estate that the libs are in, and certainly got to be good for real estate that we're getting 70% clearances, which is up there with what we've been getting most of the year, between sort of 70 and 85%. It's still pretty good out there.
Do you know what, Gary? It's
actually
actually improved. A big shout out to ScoMo. Do not let us down, because the whole nation really, I think, has picked themselves up and is getting behind you.
And well done to Josh Frydenberg. He's a local boy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
but ultimately, don't let the country down.
No. Don't do that. Bring us all together, all those people that have voted, not for you necessarily, bring us all together, because we all want to sit around and sing Kumbaya while we're selling and buying houses.
That is a wrap for GPTV. Thanks for watching. I'm Philip Kingston. Have a great week.
Gary Pearce. See you next week.